In this video, we'll look at the daily and weekly price action of CleanSpark so we can get a feel for where price is going to move in the short term and the long term. It helps us identify where we're going to add and trim and that kind of stuff. Other than that, though, if you don't want to watch all of this content, long story short, I'm still bullish on CleanSpark and Bitcoin. Currently adding and moving with the volatility on both of those. You can check out my live portfolio on eToro in the description down below, but I've chucked up my stats today on the page there so you can see. Good morning. I've got some technical difficulties, so there's no camera today. I'll sort it when I get back from holiday and hopefully get that back running again for us. But looking at the chart for CleanSpark, love it. We've had a pretty good convincing breakout on volume from the small purple trend here, and we've made the measured move on that. So again, there's a couple of confluence points here that are going to make it a little bit sticky, and we've seen that we've been stuck here 4 days already. So we've got this historical resistance at kind of 930. The bull market support band, although, is very narrow, which I love, and it's about to flip and it's flattened. So the bull market band should offer us less resistance than it would have if we looked further back down the chart here. These ones were going to be chunky, but overall, they've been pretty flim flam. I do think we'll get over that quite quickly when we do. Other bottom signals as well. We've got bottom catches galore on the MACDX Plus. Love that. We've got some institutions coming back, loading up. The moving averages aren't quite where we want them to be, but they're getting there, which is key. And they are a little bit lagging. I certainly wouldn't use them to initiate any trades from. But the flow indicator as well, we've got 4 gold bars there. I love gold bars as bottom kind of indicators, especially when it's paired with a nice choppy bottom pattern like this. These two here, I wouldn't really say they were a good bottom signal if there's only 2. You kind of need 3, like we had 3 here. A nice choppy bottom kind of pattern there. A couple of oversold bottom catches, and then we boomed higher over 100%, I think it was in the end. 100 and something percent, yeah. So I actually think we could do better than that one because the short interest is so high. Once we start popping, if we get a convincing close over this $9 area, I think the shorts are going to start fading out of this one. And what do we know that shorts do when they exit their positions? They got to buy it back, which is amazing. RSI as well, got plenty of upside. So if we're not going to have a little chop down here, I think support would be this red line or this black line that's kind of alongside the volume shelf there. Lost my train of thought what I was going to say, but essentially I think what I was trying to say was, if there is downside, I'm probably going to buy more into this one because I believe the bottom is now in for it and the upside potential is amazing. Above that though, resistance, we had a lot of buyers in this kind of area at my average price at kind of 10.17. That's going to be a little bit sticky, but primarily I think it could be quite a choppy or quite a powerful push through here up to $12 being quite a nice area that people might want to exit. But the volume's fairly low here. I think we'll move quite quickly through price when it gets to this point, as we have done historically. But that kind of 18, 20 area and $20 is going to be the beastie levels, I think, that we're going to have to get over. Psychologically, $20 is quite a strong topping signal there. But overall, I do think we're going to be much higher. I think getting up to $50 shouldn't really be a problem. I think a lot of people have preferred not to use miners as proxy trades for Bitcoin this time. The ETFs have come and offered a much safer way to do that. But obviously it's less reward as well. Less risk, less reward, as they say. But mostly I'll be out between 25 and 35. We can look at the chart, why I've picked those levels up here. So just basically going to start trimming out at strong levels. On the weekly, let's take a quick look. We do have the cup and handle still. I think the cup and handle target got us to about $40, which does line up with what we're thinking target-wise. It's not the tidiest cup and handle. Obviously, we chopped around, we invalidated that kind of, but a lot of people will take that as use the channel as the handle. So bear that in mind. A lot of people will have eyes on for that. Indicators, RSI, pretty neutral, oversold on the MACDX Plus, and flow's kind of neutral. So weekly's still got a little bit of a ways to go, but the daily looks very good, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. I think this one's going to do banger in the second half of the year. Okay, so open options interest for CleanSpark. We can see market makers are bang on sitting at 9. They're going to want to dump that one and keep it under there for max pain for the options market. So unless we make quite a convincing move over there, the next move is probably going to be down, to be honest. But we'll have to wait and see. A lot of people interested in a $10 strike for this week. That could happen, but again, that's going to be the convincing move over that. So we need to wait and see. Bitcoin's going to need to wiggle its booty if we want to get that. That $10 strike though does line up very nicely with prior support and resistance, which is nice. And then 1150, they've gone for that resistance, which makes sense. There was a lot of selling there. We can tell by the wicks. Let's push it out to next week, see where the strikes are at. So a lot of people more interested in it for a short-term play, $9. So yeah, not too interesting in the short term. But let's push it out to towards the end of the year, where I think most of the excitement's going to be. Let's say, what date should we pick? Let's go July. Let's try July. So a lot of people quite bullish for July, which lines up with the time frame where I'd expect to see kind of things start to top out. Possibly September. But strikes look like they come down a bit more in September, a little bit safer. Let's have a quick look at November, see what everyone's thinking. So there might be more strikes. I don't know why this app that I'm using sort of cuts off the higher stuff. Maybe there's not enough volume there for it to register. So definitely wouldn't take any options on this past kind of July. Let's try to. Yeah, probably a lot of them interested in July. So I think second half of the year, CleanSpark's still going to do really well. A lot of the big boys think so as well. But again, market makers definitely want to sell it off in the short term. So watch out for that. Right, news for CleanSpark. Not a whole lot of new stuff out. Really, I'm still just excited about the RFPs that we talked about in the last meeting, and I'm starting to get a little bit excited about crypto yield and the money markets opening up. There's been a lot of stuff going on in that regards, lots of lines of credit and all that good stuff. I'm generally really excited to see if it's going to be worth holding a lot more of what I would traditionally sell each cycle. I don't actually know what's going to happen with this cycle. It might be really muted. There might be a lot less downside than people expect, but I think there still will be in proxies like the miners and Robinhood, that kind of stuff. I think they will have more of a bear market than the actual, the actual cryptocurrency L1s and stuff like that. L2s, I think, are maybe at risk of getting decimated again, but we'll have to wait and see. What else is on my list? So we talked about it last week. CleanSpark expects Bitmain to eat most of its tariffs. Love that. At current valuations, CleanSpark is only interested in non-dilutive forms of capital growth. Love that, especially when we talk about the new acquisition that they potentially have. Rex Finance did a little dig in, got some goss, got some tea. It's not company confirmed yet, so we'll have to wait and see how that develops, but it's very exciting. It will be an immersion site, I believe, is what he talks about in another one of his posts. But it's hard to know exactly what capacity it's going to bring to the company until the company makes an announcement about what it is. There's speculation that where is it on my notes? That it will be 10 to 15 exahashes, and they'll spend 40 to 50 million building it. I don't know. It's all rumors right now. I don't think there's been any confirmed news about it, so we'll have to wait and see. It is a very large plot. Obviously, it takes time to build out these things. It's not going to happen in the next 6 months, but it will be very good for the company long term. Especially as it's immersion cooled, actually. If they're going to do immersion cooled, they can reduce headcount dramatically, so that cuts cost there as well, and they'll be more efficient. But yeah, other news that I've got on here, Bitcoin holdings per company. Strategy and Mara are absolutely mopping the floor with everyone, but important to differentiate that they buy their Bitcoin, so they don't have quite the cost basis as CleanSpark, which as far as I'm aware is the only company that doesn't buy Bitcoin. I think they only do it at cost. But I mean, I don't keep an eye on some of the smaller miners, so that might not necessarily be the case for the smaller micro miners and stuff like that. I'm not really interested in them. I did recently sell out of Iron. It's a very small position. I'm not convinced HPC is going to be a good profit driver for them in the short term, but I do like their mining operations. I kind of prefer if they just stuck to mining, but I've picked my horses, kind of CleanSpark and Mara, I think, and MicroStrategy. So, I'm comfortable. I'm sitting happy. I don't need to have all the miners to do well. I just need to pick a few that I can understand a bit better. Other than that, I want to talk about the SPY. Now, this whole move's been quite low volume. So I get the sense that we might be in for some more chop unless there's some macro news that really pushes us higher. But we're really at kind of a crucial point. We did kind of make a new high, but we're hitting our head on that diagonal trend there and some historical resistance. So I think it's going to be really crucial for us to get over that point and just maybe backtest that as a new staging area for the next level up. Generally in the market, though, I am super bullish. I'm just a little bit nervous over the next few months while the tariff deals and stuff get worked out. The tariff stuff's heavily impacted how I'm feeling about Tesla. I know everyone's super excited about the cars and all the FSD rollout and all that stuff, but the tariff stuff's hit Tesla quite badly. The energy sector, which I'm mostly excited for, did not do well, and they don't expect to do well until there's some clarity on the macro environment. Obviously, Tesla relies heavily on rare earths as well, which that's getting a bit of an issue. So I trimmed my Tesla a little bit. So I think it's sitting at about 5% weighting, but my plan was always to scale up into that in year end. So hopefully the stars align and we can move some of our crypto profits to our Tesla position, which would be dream come true, please, please, please. But, it's good to have a plan, but it might not execute. So in the meantime, we just have to keep an eye on Tesla and see what it's doing. We might have to redistribute some capital, but I think the next quarter is probably not going to be great either. Okay, I did figure out what's wrong with my camera. For some reason, after I've upgraded to Windows 11, it's now got like a little delay from when it starts recording. So it was actually working on some of the videos. It's just it doesn't kick in for a few seconds, so I just have to hold my breath and not talk for a minute. But other than that, Bitcoin chart. Actually love this. Love it. Super bullish now. I'm starting to get really excited on crypto-related assets. Don't be surprised if we do hit ahead a little bit. We've got this volume shelf here, and we are quite high on the RSI, so bear that in mind. But yeah, this looks super good. Support now sits at 92. Underneath that, kind of 88. Honestly, would love for us to back test one of those levels so I can really put my money where my mouth is and get some more dollars onto that. I did put in here a little squiggle ages ago what I thought price could do. So far, it's kind of tracking it. But again, I never bet on these guesses that I've had. That's just where I think price will go. Sometimes we can see it on the CleanSpark chart. I have a little squiggle, and you almost need to flip it round to show what I actually did. But I mean, I was kind of in the price ranges, so just back to front, I guess. But again, I didn't know the macro was going to do the bed as much as it did. A lot of liquidity has been taken out of the system. Yes, M2 global money supply is up, but that's not the whole picture for liquidity. So chart-wise, next level of interest, obviously $100,000. That's where I think a lot of people might decide to take some risk off the table. Everyone that bought really aggressively back here, thinking they were going to be millionaires in a few days, and then they got stuck bag holding on the drop. Actually, I don't think this drop peaked to bottom 31, and judging from the rhetoric we saw online, you would have thought the world was ending, but that's actually quite a modest dip for Bitcoin. If you can't handle that, you might want to be in safer assets that have got less volatility. This is going to be choppy, but you can't have the big upside if you don't have the big downside, right? So it's risk reward. You've got to know what's good for you, but expect these things with these kind of assets. The more mature Bitcoin gets, the less volatile it will be, but also on the flip side of that, it means the less profits you will make unless you lose using leverage positions. And like I said earlier, I don't know if the leverage positions are going to have as much returns in the future. We'll see this cycle. If some of the proxy trades do really well, then they're still a good bet. As long as they do more than 2x what Bitcoin does, I'll probably be happy. But I'm kind of banking on 3, 4, 5x of what the underlying asset does. But we'll have to wait and see. Above that, though, this kind of orange trend line, I am expecting to hit my head on that a little bit. Price target wise, I'm still kind of on the vibe of over 200k to 280. It's really hard to predict the top price of Bitcoin because it can get super parabolic, but it also could be neutered depending on global issues. If there is a liquidity issue and we start seeing some more severe issues in the economy, banking runs and that kind of stuff, then we will get neutered. Or if rates suddenly shoot up, then we're probably not going to be seeing a big parabolic phase at the end. But certainly getting up to 200k, I think, is more than likely. We'll just have to wait and see. The rate that people are starting to buy is crazy, and supply is just. There's going to be some god candles. There's talk now about omega candles, and I think they may be pipe dreams, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's take a quick look at the weekly though. Oh, that looks a bit crazy. It's a nice uptrend. We could argue that that's a cup and a handle. Still looks good, but again, they kind of get you into that area. I think I really do need to tidy up some of my charts. Apologies, guys. I'm getting a bit slacking in my charts because I'm just putting notes on them. Really, it depends where it breaks out, but certainly gets us into the high area. So worth keeping an eye on. But yeah, super excited. Fundamentally, Bitcoin is going to do well, regardless. That's a wrap. If you enjoyed this content, give it a like, share with your mum, your nan, your dad, your dog, and I will see you tomorrow for Tesla Tuesday.